Right. Thank you for joining us. This is Getting to Know. It is back after more than a year since I did my last interview, and I am here with one half of KPK. I'm here with Ahmed. Ahmed, thank you so much for joining me today.
Thank you so much for having me, bro.
So first question, where are you from and how long have you been training?
I was born in Pakistan and then spent a bit of time in New York, and basically after that lived in Markham for a long time. Now I live in Toronto. I started training. Well, I'm going to say I started training and like fully committing to wrestling in 2021.
All right, so almost 4 years.
Huh?
4 years?
Yeah, almost 4 years now. Yes.
It's awesome. And what brought you to Barrie Wrestling?
What brought me to Barrie Wrestling? Well, I trained at Battle Arts, and a lot of our coaches, Gabriel Fuerza, Alexia Nicole, Mark Wheeler, John Greed, Shane Saber. I don't know if I'm allowed to talk about Shane Saber right now.
I mean, he's kind of a psychopath, but yeah, you can talk about him.
I know firsthand. He's one of my coaches. But, we've training with them, we know that they've all spent a lot of time in Barrie Wrestling. Fuerza, I know, spent like a lot of his early career in Barrie Wrestling. I'm pretty sure him versus Vertigo is like the very first match. Yep. So obviously, us as their like students, we want to kind of follow in their footsteps. We see a lot of the best wrestlers in the province, I would even say in the country, have wrestled in Barrie. And we also just love the vibe here, the audience that we get to perform in front of, being in this venue. I always enjoy coming to these shows. So I'm really glad that we are now, like, I guess it's safe to say, for better or for worse, KPK is a part of Barrie Wrestling.
Well, I mean, you guys are fighting for the tag titles tonight.
Yeah.
And it's been, 7-8 months since you were here on the pre-show, like your debut match?
Yeah. Funny enough, our pre-show match was against two people that we are now very, very close to, especially in Barrie Wrestling. We formed a faction together, Chimera, Yeah. Oh. Thank you. Thank you very much. We're not going to acknowledge what the hand sign originally was because, I hope is that still in the Barrie Wrestling intro?
But you guys doing this?
The other one.
No, it's just this.
Oh,
just
thank God.
C. What was the other one?
It was this.
Oh.
And,
oh, yeah.
Someone pointed it out to us, but...
I mean, if there's emotion to it, it's a little bit worse.
Yeah. And I remember actually, I guess I'll talk about this too. This is a quick aside.
That's
I'm sorry. When we made our first sort of post together, like the four of us, me, Abu, Brian Sinclair, Maddie Z, all together, we announced ourselves as Chimera on social media, and one of our coaches, again, Gabriel Fuerza, comments on the post while we're holding this up that we're the Seamen.
That's Fuerza.
Yeah, and I think from that moment on, we were like, all right, we got to make sure we can't be the Seamen.
So if it makes you feel better, so I filmed the intros for Rush Hour, and the one show during the intro, I'm like, you better fasten your seatbelt, and my fasten your seatbelt motion was this.
Oh.
And I'm watching it back, and I'm like, I don't have time to refilm. Like, it's like going live, and I'm just like, fasten your seatbelt.
Oh, no. Oh, no, man.
No.
Aren't these PG shows? We're not allowed to do that on these shows.
I mean, I had Holden Albright on Getting to Know once, and
well.
I had to edit some of that out, but it was not the most PG.
I hope you don't edit the part with the Seaman out.
No, that is definitely going to be there.
Right, that's good.
So I was going to ask what your first impressions were of Barrie Wrestling, but I guess, like you said, like the crowd, the vibe, everything you expected?
Yes, and more. I feel like now that we've had almost a year, I guess, of being at Barrie Wrestling shows, we've had a good taste for it, and I think, even though we came into Barrie Wrestling with an intention to change some things around here, we definitely still intend on doing that, but I can't deny that the groundwork has been set for what I believe to be like one of the best promotions in Ontario.
Agreed.
I would even say some days it is the best. There's some cards that Barrie Wrestling puts out. I'm like, yep, can't beat this, right? Like, I mean, if you look at the lineup right now, I mean, we got Gabriel Fuerza as your heavyweight champion. I mean, by hook or by crook, it's still Gabriel Fuerza, right? You got guys like Rajan Husher. I know him very well because we train with him, and he's one of the best guys coming up in the province right now. Like, and we're getting to see his sort of rise. Like on this show, he's wrestling London Lightning. That match is going to be good.
Well, and let's be honest, we had KPK against Sinner and Saint, which was our 2024 match of the year. And the fastest match I've ever called.
Probably the fastest match I've ever wrestled. Although I have wrestled them since, and I think we went pretty fast in that match too. But that match really helped us. I think KPK wouldn't be the kind of team that we are now if it wasn't for that first match that Barrie Wrestling allowed us to have with Sinner and Saint.
Well, and I got to say, so like my wife, who did not grow up a wrestling fan, has become a bit of one for me. Like she said, when you guys come through the curtain, like there's just an aura about the two of you and Abu. And, you know, I think I've said to you before, like you guys, from the moment you walk out, you are who you are. It's not, you're not playing characters. I mean, you are, you're not actually as big of a jerk in real life, but
I try not to be.
But no, it's you guys. You definitely eyes on you. Now, a bit of a serious question, and this is something that Sean actually wanted me to ask you, but I also want to ask as well. So, you know, wrestling historically has been very white dominated. You know, white champions, white pushes, and often, you know, visible minorities would be like the Iron Sheik, or even more recently like Jinder Mahal, where like their whole character is basically based on their background. So, times changing, 2025. I mean, it's far from perfect, but how is it as a wrestler being a visible minority, and do you feel pressure to try and change some of the things?
I feel an obligation. I remember when I started wrestling, my parents were like, you know, they were supportive, 100%, but they were also kind of like wary because in, you know, growing up with the kind of wrestling that they probably saw, they saw the stereotypes. They saw like...
Oh, were they wrestling fans?
My mom's side of the family, a lot of wrestling fans. Like my grandfather on that side and my uncle. My uncle is the one who got me into pro wrestling. And I kind of felt like from the beginning, like I'm going to feel a pressure and like a pressure to lean into those stereotypes because a lot of people will tell you like it's an easy way to get by in this industry, right? Because, you know, foreign heels always get heat. I remember there was a promotion that booked us early on that specifically was like, oh, like, this is why we want you guys, is because we want you guys to be foreign heels because you'll for sure get heat. But I think one thing I've noticed, it's not even just about like, the audiences are changing too.
Yeah.
I think we got to give more credit to the people who watch the shows. Like, they recognize that these stereotypes are wrong. And like, I think when they see guys like me and Abu walking into the room now, they don't see like an immediate urge to boo anymore. They're actually looking at what we're doing first. So now if they boo us, it's because we're being jerks. But like you said, you know, your wife was telling you like we have like an aura, right? And I think one thing that KPK, and not even just KPK, but if you look at guys like, again, Rajan Husher, Brian Sinclair, these are all guys who are brown guys, but they walk in and they have something. They're not just doing a stereotype. Yeah.
No, and like I think it's fair to say like you and Abu, KPK, and I mean I'll shout out Haroon and Karu as well.
Thank you so much. Yes.
Karu was the first one of you guys I met because I did some Junction City wrestling and stuff like that in Toronto. I was at the show where he split his. I think he cut his head. Oh no, I'm mixing up with somebody else. Never mind. Karu did not cut his head open.
I don't think Karu cut his head open.
No, but you guys, especially with KPK here, you're not like a Pakistani tag team. You're a tag team of guys who happen to be from Pakistan.
Abu's not even from Pakistan.
Oh no, okay, sorry.
And Karu's not from Pakistan either.
I know Karu wasn't, but KPK is.
KPK, the roots are Pakistani.
Yeah,
you know.
But even so, you're like same thing like Rajan Husher. I get it right eventually. He's a bad guy who is a visible minority. He's not like, it's not his character to be, and I'm not even sure what his background is, and because it's not relevant to his character, and it hasn't been. And I'll give credit to Sean Gibson and Barrie Management. Like the foreign evil heel is something we've never really leaned into at all.
I guess I'll give credit to Sean here as well. I feel like since the beginning, like since he started booking us, he's wanted to make sure that like he never leans into that for us ever.
Matty Z is very not from Pakistan.
Yeah, he's our token white guy. But like honestly, I think Sean also knows like when we walk out there, we're not gonna try and do anything like that.
No, yeah.
Like, you know, I yell and I scream and but I'm not a foreign bad guy. And Abu is just a cool guy from Toronto.
The main event, Poppy.
Almost too much from Toronto. I would say
he's very Toronto.
Very Toronto, right? But like that's what I'm saying. It's like because that's who we are.
Yeah,
we're guys from Toronto. I'm a guy who likes to yell a lot and has big hair and likes to fucking shake my. Oh, sorry.
That's all right. I can bleep it.
Likes to shake my head around, and like Abu's this cool, suave guy from Scarborough. Uses a lot of Toronto slang and like stuff that I don't even understand sometimes. But like, I think what makes us is that kind of juxtaposition of like you have this guy who looks like he came out of a cave and this other guy who looks nice and clean cut and he's got abs and stuff. I think that juxtaposition really helps us as a tag team. It's one of the reasons why I love all of our KPK guys, but I think of all of the members, I think the dynamic between me and Abu has been the most successful.
I was actually going to ask a question about that, and you answered it for me, that that coming together, because you guys are a very good yin and yang in look and action. And like, I know Brian Sinclair's giving me a hard time for saying you're the powerhouse of KPK, because that's not. You guys are all very equal and all fill all your roles. But no, from a visual perspective, it's a really good contrast between kind of the wild man and then the clean cut guy. But you mentioned you trained with some people, and I have some fun questions for you.
Oh, nice. So I've been having fun already.
So for us in Barrie, we know of you, Husher, Sinclair, Matty Z, and Abu, who all train in battle arts. Of those 5, who is most likely to be late for practice?
Most likely to be late for practice? Recently it's been Rajan. Recently it's been Rajan, but honestly Abu as well. If it wasn't for me, Abu would be late all the time.
Who spends the most time getting ready on show day, like on match day?
I'm going to say me.
You? I
got a lot of stuff to put on.
Who has the worst taste in music?
Worst taste in music? Okay, okay. I have 2 answers.
Okay.
One is Matty Z, because all he listens to is Oasis.
Okay.
Like that's
Jim Lowe just became the biggest Matty Z fan on the planet.
I know, but like listen to something else, man. Like I'm not saying there's anything wrong with Oasis, but that's all he listens to. I swear, I've never heard him listen to anything else. But I'm gonna also mention, and you didn't mention. I don't think you mentioned him in the list, but Haroon, one of our KPK members, we once let him take the. He was in charge of music and he was driving. Abu and I were asleep in the back of the car. Karu's sitting with him in the front. Haroon's just playing all of these like sappy like love music, and it's basically just him and Karu awake in the car. And Karu's like, he's being tortured by all this music.
It's getting him hyped.
Yeah, okay. I don't know.
Who is the most likely to piss off a coach?
Probably Abu.
Abu? Not surprising.
But I mean, everyone knows what he's like now, so.
Okay, which coach is most likely to get annoyed?
Probably Saber.
Saber? All right. I got a couple more for you. Who has the best hair?
Best hair? Me.
Yeah, that's an easy one. Who is the craziest? Whether it's in the ring or outside the ring, like most likely to do some insane spot or something stupid?
Abu's a lot more careful, so he's definitely not him. I think me.
How about the guy who climbed a mountain shirtless and yelled for a promo in the middle of winter?
I like to say that I'm not, but I think I am.
All right, 2 more. Who is the most positive of the group? The optimist.
Can you give me the list again?
You, Husher, Abu, Matty Z, Sinclair.
I guess me.
You?
I don't know. I feel like a lot of the time, especially with Abu, because I talk to him the most. I'm the one who has to hype him up. Like, no, come on, man. Like, what are you saying?
All right, and last one. Sean Gibson comes to you and says we're going to book a tag match. It's going to be you and one of your coaches against another student and a coach. Who do you pick for your team to go against who?
Me and John Greed versus Abu and Mark Wheeler.
I would watch that matchup.
Yeah.
Size against abs.
Yeah, legit. But I also think of all the coaches we have, Abu probably tries to model himself the most after Mark Wheeler.
Really? I can see that. They both have very punchable faces.
He has a bit of Fuerza in him too, I think, the entrance role.
Yeah.
I remember he would beg Fuerza to let him do that on shows because it is cool. But, Fuerza is the one who used to do that.
No, I've always said Wheeler has the most punchable face I've ever seen.
I know, but he's also I'm not going to say.
No, he
is the nicest guy.
So the best heels are really nice people.
I used to be scared of him when I started wrestling, but then I met him and talked to him, and I was like, no way, this guy is
He and I also share. We both had the same metal plate in our arm.
Oh, well, there you go.
He broke his in a wrestling match. I broke mine in a car accident. You know.
Oh man, that sucks.
Yeah, but it's a cool story. Then my plate broke. So yeah, no, that sucked.
Oh.
That was incredible pain. But that's enough about me. That's it for my fun little trivia. I'm going to be asking Abu the same question, so we'll see how he answers.
Yeah. I'm actually very curious.
Yeah, and I'm hoping to interview the other 3 next month, so I'll get them all in there.
We'll all have plenty to say about each other, I'm sure.
So one last question for you. What are your goals for 2025?
So last year we got to wrestle a lot of like great tag teams. More of that. There's a bunch of tag teams. I mean, I think there's a KPK versus Fresh Air match that's still kind of on the table.
I want that so bad.
Trust me, so do we. We got to wrestle Sinner and Saint again this year. I want to wrestle Fight or Flight again this year. More of those kinds of tag teams that'll push us, right? But I think also just to travel more. I think Canadian wrestlers are some of the best wrestlers in the world, and
Agreed.
I think we prove that every time we go out and try to like explore these other parts of the world, wrestling wise. And like, you know, I think if there's one place that made me realize we could all benefit from traveling, it's the UK, because we got to pick up so much stuff there that we wouldn't have picked up here. And I feel like we've only scratched the surface. Want to go back to the UK. I want to go to places like Mexico. Want to go to places like Japan. Like, I don't think we'll be able to do all that in 2025. But what I'm basically saying is 2025, I want more opponents that'll push us and more opportunities to like travel for wrestling. I'll say that.
Well, I mean, we said on commentary when you're wrestling Sinner and Saint that we think you and Abu are where they were about a year ago. So
that's crazy.
You know, who knows? Maybe by this time, 2026, you'll be traveling all over the place while on TV.
Oh man, I mean that would be great. But honestly, wherever wrestling takes us, look, I just love doing it. So any opportunity to do more, I'm taking it. I'm hungry.
Well, I love watching you guys wrestle, so hope to see more of it. Where can people find you on social media?
So Instagram is probably the best place to find me, KPK_Ahmed. There's also KPK Wrestling on Twitter. I'm on Facebook, I guess, but who really uses Facebook?
Old people like me.
Yeah. But yeah, Instagram and Twitter. I do have a TikTok, I guess. It's KPK_Ahmed. I posted a video of me from the last show, clotheslining Mark Wheeler. That was pretty fun.
That was also a great match. KPK against Locked and Loaded.
I was really happy with that match too. But I like to call that match the many deaths of KPK.
Abu gave me crap for laughing at him when he got thrown across the ring. But
no, you should laugh at him.
Was incredible.
He was getting thrown. I mean, I got thrown around too. But
so, many deaths of KPK. Abu died 7 times.
Yeah.
You maybe died once.
Yeah.
He died a lot.
I mean, there have been matches. We each have we take turns. Some days I'm the one who gets murdered 10 times over in a match, and then some days it's him.
He got the pinfall. I'm not sure if he remembers it, but he got the pinfall.
He can thank me for that.
And somebody's boot as well. But we'll be showing that match on Rush Hour in a couple of months, I'm sure.
Oh, awesome, yeah.
Anyways, Ahmed, thank you so much.
No, thank
Appreciate
you
it.
for having me,
And good luck tonight as you go for the titles.
Thank you so much. I'm going to need it.
All right. Thank you. We'll be back with more Getting to Know soon.